Welcome to the 6th episode of the Coast to Coast podcast. I'm Ben Cooper, joined alongside, as usual, by Henry from Hoopify and Trevor Evans. Today we are joined by the newest editor for the very popular YouTubers Moochie and Jesser. Our first international guest from Toronto, Canada, Karma. Welcome onto the show. How's everyone doing today?
Thanks for having me, guys. I'm actually excited. Thank you so much.
Thanks for taking the time.
All right, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, definitely. I know there's a little bit of a time zone difference, but hey, we make it work. So we're all good. We all good.
Yeah, we're chilling. You know, I'm an editor, so I don't be sleeping anyways.
There you go. Yep. Like gamer hour late at night. No, it is. So getting right into it. When and why did you start editing?
So I started editing back in 2015 or 2016, and like since then I have been like really on and off with it, because when I first started editing, it was in the Fortnite community doing montages and stuff, and montages are kind of hard. And like as soon as I started editing, I really wanted to make a career out of it, you know. But I realized that montage editing, there's money in it, but not like livable money. You know what I'm saying? Like the amount of time. Yeah, exactly. Like the amount of time it takes is just, it's not worth the pay, you know? So that really got to my head, and I kind of went through like a depression state, because editing is really what I really wanted to do, and I realized that like I can't do this as a living, you know what I'm saying? So I had quit editing, and I was playing a lot of sports and stuff, and then for 2 years from 2018 till now, I had stopped playing sports in school and things like that, and I started to edit again, like on and off again, you know. I was editing on and off, and then I was like, you know, I don't really want to do montage editing anymore. And I had a lot of free time during that time, and I was watching a lot of YouTube, and I was like, yo, like, why don't I try to edit for creators and stuff? You know? I had my own YouTube channel, and it's just I really enjoyed editing more than I did actual like content creation. So I was like, you know, why don't I do this? So I started to, you know, hit up small creators in the Fortnite community, and I was like, yo, do you need an edit? Do you need an editor? You know, luckily I got a few small gigs for people. You know, it didn't pay much, but it was something to get me started, right? And on top
start
of
off
that,
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And on top of that, I was doing like my own YouTube and stuff. So yeah, it kind of just built up, and I had stuff to build up my portfolio and stuff. So
yeah.
And then I started, instead of me hitting people up, people started hitting me up, you know? So yeah, it kind of snowballed. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. So how did when you were doing like in the beginning, like the Fortnite montages, like how did that like originally come about? Like you just happened to be playing and were like, hey, this is something I can make out of it, or like you were contacted by people to do it, or like how'd that end up happening?
When I first started making Fortnite montages, it's because like it kind of stemmed from like Call of Duty. Like I wasn't a part of when Call of Duty editing was a big thing. I wasn't a part of that, but later on I watched a lot of COD edits, and I'm like, damn, yo, that's sick. I want to learn to do something like that, you know? So then I was playing a lot of Fortnite at the time, and what was it? The cinematic tool for Fortnite had just come out, the theater mode for Fortnite, and I was like, you know, let me try to make something of it, you know? And I did my first edit in the theater mode. Obviously, it wasn't that good, but I enjoyed making it, you know? Yeah, and that's how I started doing. I started doing cinematic edits, and then for players and stuff, you know, to introduce things and things like that.
That's a come up story right there.
Yes, sir.
So where did you get like your editing style from then? Like, were you inspired by any other like certain editors or creators?
When I first started to do montages, I watched a lot of tutorials by an editor called, his name was Parallel Deer, and I was watching a lot of his videos. I was watching a lot of FaZe Barker. So it was a lot of the FaZe Clan guys, you know, those types of edits, and I was watching those. So that's what really got me started in doing montages. And then when I started to do content, it was more of like T-Wop style, you know, like funny, like his. That's what really got me started.
Okay, so what was like the adjustment going from when after you had like taken a break and you were like, yo, I could edit for content? Was there like a clear like amount of time that it took to like adjust to the different kind of editing style, or was it like pretty like, oh, I already know my way around the platform, I can get this easy?
No, it was snappy because
Mm-hmm.
in between doing montages, I was also doing my own YouTube content, right? So
Mm-hmm.
mainly when I do montages, it was in After Effects, but I also use Premiere Pro a lot for my own YouTube content. So when I started editing for like other people, it was Premiere Pro, and I didn't have to really learn anything new because
Yeah.
I was already doing YouTube content and things like that. So
Oh yeah. There you go. You set yourself up for
yeah,
success
that's
early
it.
on.
Yeah.
Go.
By doing a multitude of things,
There
not
you
just
go.
one thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
grow on that tool belt.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty much that was like a segue into the next one, but obviously you mentioned like After Effects, Premiere. Are there any other softwares that you've like experienced with?
Um, I know a little bit of Sony Vegas. Like
Mm-hmm.
when I first started to do when I first decided that I wanted to do like content editing for other creators and things like that, I was like, let me try Sony Vegas because I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure if like the things I wanted to like I didn't want to use After Effects because
Mm-hmm.
workflow in After Effects for content videos it just doesn't work. It'll
Yeah.
take days to do a video that should take hours, you know what I'm saying?
Facts. Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, I was like, let me try Vegas. So I tried Vegas and no offense to Vegas users, but that shit is some hard ass, bro. Like like I really couldn't grasp it, man. Like
Yeah.
I knew like how to do things, but there would be times when I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to do this, and then when I go to do that, it doesn't have the same tools that Premiere has. So I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I scrapped it and I went back to Premiere and just having that functionality between Premiere and After Effects and how they come together and you don't have
Yeah.
to like re-render something and bring it into Premiere and then go back to After Effects and it's like it's together. It really that's what made me choose to stick with Adobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. When did that switch happen? Like when did you initial was that like around the beginning, that like 2015 time or
Oh, actually, it was pretty recently
oh really? Okay.
when I stuck my head forward and I was like, okay, this is what I want to do, and I'm not like I tunnel visioned editing for content creators,
Yeah.
and that I think around this time last year, I think it was
Mm-hmm.
around this time last year, I tried to do Vegas and I was like, hell no,
Yeah.
absolutely could not.
I
So
feel that.
about it.
So you kind of spoke on it just then, but like, when was that moment? Like, kind of you flipped the switch and decided to take it more seriously. It was like someone reaching out to you, or like what kind of like got you like, I'm gonna do this for my life.
That's a good question. I can't really pinpoint that exact moment, but I think it's one day I think I was watching Rice Gum,
Mm.
right? And I was watching Rice Gum and I was like, yo, this T-Wop guy is so good. He like just his comedic timing and
Yeah.
all that. And I was like, "Bro, I could not I could do what he's doing, but if I practiced enough, and if I connected with the right people, I could really do that. And
Yeah.
I felt like my passion for editing was there. Like
Mm-hmm.
before it was there, but it was like it was on and off because I could never guarantee a future for myself in
Mm.
right. And then I see like, T-Wop and FaZe Mito and people like that, they're living off doing stuff like that. And I was like,
Yeah.
if I tried hard enough, I feel like I could. So I talked to a few people in the community and I asked them like how did you guys get into this? And they're like they literally just told me like use Twitter. I was like, just okay. What do you mean by use
Alright.
Twitter? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, just use Twitter for networking with people and stuff like that. So that's when
Mhm.
I had made a Twitter and I had joined the team, and that's what really got my foot in the door, connecting with people and
Yeah.
you know creators and seeing people who need editors and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. I
Shout
definitely
out.
feel that Twitter that Twitter connection thing. That's how we all got connected here. So
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Oh yeah,
it's
Twitter to
yeah,
go.
Twitter's crazy.
for
Like
sure. Yeah.
I did not see the like how much it could do for you till like I was on it, and then like
Honestly,
people started
For real.
responding.
I was just talking with my brother recently about that actually because we were talking about how we will watch everybody's YouTube videos and feel like oh, we're in the loop, we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on Twitter, like,
Yeah.
just there's so much more going on, and I never realized how much Twitter was such a social networking tool until I got into it and realized how many people you could reach out to and things like that with Twitter. So
Yeah. Shout out
That's so
Twitter.
easy.
That's how we
Shout out
get a lot of our guests.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir. Absolutely. Perfect. Well, now switching a little bit over more to the current and what's going on right now. How did you initially come in contact with Jesse or Jesser?
I think it was a Monday night. I was chilling in bed, and then I got a follow notification, and
Mhm.
it was from one of Jesse's editors, and he followed me, and one of the things that he retweeted was Jesse saying that Jesse made a tweet saying that he needed editors for his team.
Hmm.
And so Rick, Jesse's editor, had
Hmm.
retweeted that, and I saw it. I was like, okay, bet. So I decided to message Rick since he followed me, and I was like, hey man, is Jesse still looking for editors?
Mhm.
And then he hadn't responded to me till Tuesday afternoon, and I was playing Overwatch, I think. Yeah, I was playing Overwatch. I got the notification. He said he told me that he had followed me because he'd seen some of my work and he thought that it was really good. And since Jesse was looking for editors, he followed me intending to message me.
Mhm.
So yeah, he told me that he liked my work and he wanted to have me possibly do a test edit for Jesse.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's how we kind of got started.
Hell yeah. There you go. That's how you know you're putting your work out there, correct? Someone
Yeah,
coming to
that's
you, right?
I kind of like I kind of felt myself a little bit, I was patting
Yeah,
myself on
yeah.
the shoulder, like,
Hey.
getting my work out there, and
Yeah.
so that's how it kind of started with Jesse.
Oh yeah.
How many hours did you put into that test edit?
Oh man, bro, I wanted to put a lot of work into it, but also at the same time show that like I can do high quality edits in a short amount of time.
Yep.
So he'd given me 2 days to get it done,
Mhm.
and that entire night I just grinded. I just
Mhm.
grinded that edit. I did not look up. I occasionally went downstairs to get some water, but I grinded out the edit, and then the next day I had it done, and I told them,
Mhm.
here it is. I put a lot of work into it. I hope you guys like what I came up with.
Mhm.
So.
Was that an all-nighter?
Oh yeah, yes. It was definitely the day before. No, the day he had sent me all the files to get editing, I was up from uh 7 p.m. because I normally sleep in the day because at night is when I feel most comfortable being up editing.
Mhm.
I don't know. I think that's just me though. I just feel more
Mhm.
comfortable at nighttime editing.
Yeah. No, I
Uh,
feel that. I'm a nighttime editor too.
yeah.
So
So
it's not bad.
yeah, I got up at 7 p.m. that day, and he had sent me the files, and I was like, great, I'll get right to work. And so from then until 2 o'clock the next day, it was just straight that edit, just
Yeah.
nothing
Damn.
else, just looking through
Wow.
that edit. Yeah, and I had ordered Uber Eats for breakfast. And I was
Yep.
like, just leave it at the front door, and he just left it there for me, and I was just grinding the edit until 2 o'clock when I had rendered everything and sent it off to him.
Mhm. And is
Yeah.
that a video that ultimately ended up going public, or was it just only ended up being a test?
Oh no, it went public.
Mhm.
It went public. Yeah, it was him. It was Jesse. It was Jesse and Chris, reacting to My Strange Addictions videos.
Mhm.
So
Yep. Yep.
yeah, that had went up on his channel, and I was proud of myself because it was the
Yeah.
first time I had worked with somebody as high caliber as Jesse.
Yeah.
So I was hype, and I grew up watching Cash. So
Mhm.
I hadn't really watched Jesse before I was hit up to edit for him, but
Mhm.
I watched Cash a lot, so I knew who Jesse was,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was still happy that he wanted to work with me.
Oh yeah. That's awesome. You'd love to hear it.
Going back to obviously the test edit. How long before your recent tweet that you said now I'm editing for Jesse? How long before that was that?
Was it official that I was working with him?
Yeah, like what was like the time between like the test edit and like the official? I'm an editor now.
Oh, it was, I believe it was a week. It was a week because I didn't know if if they had liked it yet. He just
Mm.
told me that Rick had told me that they would look at it and and then he got back to me and they told me that they liked it. So I waited for the edit to go up before
Mm.
I said like, hey guys, I'm working with Jesse.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it took about a week of a grueling week of nail biting
Yeah.
and wondering,
Yeah.
Most
I was
nervous week.
Probably the
definitely,
best text of your
Yeah.
life, I feel like.
definitely, for sure, definitely.
So
Awesome.
speaking of this like Jesser and stuff, how did you come in contact with Moochie? Was it through Jesser?
Yeah, it was through Jessica's. When I started working for Jessa, we were in a group chat together. It was me, Rick, Jesse's manager, and a few other people. And when they first told me like, so hey, welcome to the team, man. They got me situated with how things are gonna work, when I'm gonna get videos. Um, they told me that I would also be editing for Moochie, and so
Oh,
yeah, they told me that I would be editing for both of them. So I was like, okay, cool, yeah, and that's how it kind of got started.
Okay. So it was like a one deal kind of thing.
Yeah, like together, yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty
that's
cool.
interesting.
I've never seen that
yeah,
before.
Yeah.
yeah. That was dope. When they told me that I would be editing for Moochie too, I was surprised. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah. All of a sudden that work's starting to pile up now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Definitely. I'm happy it is though, because
Yeah.
it's better than, constantly searching for clients and then like
Yeah.
when you don't find clients, you're wondering like, is it me? Is it my work?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's better keeping myself preoccupied with um two people and editing
Mm.
constantly all week instead of like, one person and then after I work for that one person, I have to go and find someone else to, so I was
Yeah.
happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot better than only doing Fortnite edits, huh?
Trust me, you don't even
Yeah.
know, man. For
Bro,
sure.
that like 1v1, I don't remember the title of that, like recent Moochie 1v1 spin the wheel. Bro, when I watched that, I swear to God, like I watched it, I was like, this editing is crazy. And then like I saw like that was before I saw the tweet. So I was like, bro, we gotta get this guy on. He
Thank
went crazy with it.
Yeah, I had put like I can't remember how long, but it took me 2 days to finish that, but most of that time was getting the files downloaded.
Oh, for real.
So
Hmm.
yeah, most of it was getting the files downloaded, and I put a couple all-nighters into that video, and there was a point in time where like my PC kind of couldn't keep up, so like
Hmm.
I had to at a certain point in the video I had to stop doing the motion graphics because it was taking
Hmm.
long for my PC to like keep up with all of that. So
Yeah.
I tried to keep the video interesting without motion graphics. So
Hmm.
yeah.
There you go. I mean, there you go. It's clearly a fire video. So
Thank
you
you.
got it.
Thank you.
This is kind of a little off topic, but I just thought of this like whenever I just think of like YouTube editors in general. What does your family think of you like when you told them I'm now a full-time editor for a YouTuber?
Um, so that's kind of one of the things I struggled with. Um, when I first started editing, and I told my mom like, because I live with my mom and my stepdad, and
Hmm.
so when I told my mom that what I want to do is editing, at first she didn't like it.
Hmm.
She didn't like it because I didn't have proof that I could do anything with
Hmm.
editing yet. So
Yeah.
at first she was like, "Oh, I want you to go to college and like, learn a trade or, go and do computer engineering or something like that.
Hmm.
And so me and my mom, we'd like have fights about it, but it wasn't like a
Hmm.
bad fight. It's just like I don't want to go to school.
Yeah.
Well, not school, but I didn't want to go to college or,
Hmm.
things like that. She keep telling me about why she wanted me to go to college and, I'm good with my hands and things like that. So I was like, even though she wasn't completely supportive, she
Hmm.
still gave me my space. Like
Hmm.
she still gave me
Nice.
she didn't like take my computer away or things like that. You know, although she would yell at me and things like that, she would still allow me to edit. You know,
Yeah.
so although she wasn't supportive, she gave me a chance, and that's one of the things I'm thankful for. You know, because
Hmm.
she still supported me, although she didn't completely approve. But
Yeah.
right now, since I recently finished my high school degree, I've
Mhm.
I finished that, and I told her like literally the day after the last day of school
Mhm.
is when Rick had told me, yo, welcome to the team.
Hey,
That's like the day after I
damn,
had yeah the
perfect
day
timing.
Yeah, I was
the,
about to ask that because like on your Twitter, I think you said something or like your age is on there, so it said like 18. So I was wondering if like you had just finished high school, and that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I had just finished high school, and literally the day after I had my online graduation, Rick hit me up, and he said, "Welcome to the team." So I told my mom, I was like, "Mom, look who I'm working for now. It's like
Yeah.
full time, And
Damn.
she's like, she didn't really say anything, but she was happy for me, right?
Hmm.
And so like literally the day after that, she was at the grocery store, I think, and I messaged her, and I was like, "Mom, are you disappointed in me for not going to college?" And she's like, "You know, you've been telling me that you didn't want to go to college for a while, and you wanted to turn editing into your career."
Hmm.
And she was like, I'll always support you in whatever you do." So I was
Yep.
like, yeah, she told me that she wasn't disappointed. She was actually happy for me because, I proved her wrong that I can actually do this. So
That's
that
awesome.
was yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is awesome. That's hella inspirational. There you go. You making your dreams come true right here.
Def-
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
So sorry, I just blanked out real quick. I was
No worries,
thinking
you
of another
good.
other thing. So I also do a little bit of like editing photo video work. That's kind of the field that I've going on. And actually, I like see this is hella cool for me because I'm seeing like a direct parallel. I had so I'm 19, so I would have been finishing my second year in college. So I'm a
Hmm.
couple years ahead, but like I had the same thing, the bickering back and forth with the mom and everything. So I could like totally relate on like, no,
Yeah,
you
for
understand. Like it's my
sure.
dream. Like I can make it happen, I promise. Yeah. But so naturally, I think editing is something that the average viewer, when they're watching a video, they don't really think too much about it as like part of the process. Obviously, it's like the filming and like for instance, like the two hype guys. It's like, hey, you got all the guys together and you're just filming, and that's really what most people think about. Um, but well, I mean, for example, like the editing process, what was that like for like let's say that recent 1v1 you did with Moochie? Because I know that's in terms of like the amount of time that goes into a video, the editing is like the majority of the time. So what was that one like?
Um, Man,
Or,
honestly, a lot of the time went into organization.
mhm,
I put so much time into organization.
mhm,
Um, most of it though was once I had everything organized, getting getting clips to match up because they
mhm,
had multiple camera setups. They had one camera guy, a second camera guy, and then they had the GoPro looking down at the overhead.
mhm.
But it was really hard because the cameras would restart at different times. So I
Mhm.
had
Oh
to go
damn.
in. Yeah, I had to every now and then I had to go back into source files and look at what camera cut where and then look
Mhm.
at camera 2 and look at where that cut. So yeah, most of it goes into organization, but once organization is done, I start clip cutting,
Mhm.
I cut everything up into what looks good where and what doesn't look good. And then once I finished cutting, I would say like half the video, then I go back to the start and I start putting things
Mhm.
into After Effects composition so I can do motion graphics and
Mhm.
sound effects and like like scoreboards and things like
Yeah,
that.
the fun
So
part.
yeah, the fun part.
Yeah.
And then after that, I cut the rest of the video and do After Effects compositions for that. And then once that is all done, then comes the sound
Mhm.
effects and music and stuff.
So there you
Yeah.
go. So if you are any viewers watching, once again, same thing with Josh episode. If you think editing's easy work, there. I mean, you hear all the whole process that
Yeah.
goes behind
It
it. So
takes it honestly before I started editing, I was just like like there are some of my favorite YouTubers that take hella long to upload, and I'm like, bro, what's so hard about this, bro? Like anybody can do this, man. Like,
Yeah.
come on, hurry up. I'm trying to be entertained. And then I started editing. I'm like, damn. And I'm starting to
I
kind
feel
of
you, I feel
title. Yeah.
So what is your like speaking on like editing here? Like what does like your typical schedule look like in a week? Like do you take any days off or is it like all edits all the time?
Um, yeah, I normally take Saturday and Sunday off. I just take the weekends like a regular job. Um, but sometimes I will do a bit of work on Sunday.
Mhm.
But normally for the rest of the week, like on a day to day, like day by day basis, um, I normally if I sleep that night, like starting on a Sunday, I normally get good rest on the weekends. So I will sleep on a Sunday at like 11, 12 o'clock, and
Mhm.
then I'll get up around 7 o'clock, and I'll go outside. I'll take a breath of fresh air, do a workout,
Mhm.
and then once I get back inside, it's straight editing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And depending on how big the project is or how much work I have to put into that project, normally the earliest I will stop is 11,
Mhm.
11 or 12. If not, then I will take like a one or excuse me, um, a 1 or 2 hour break and then get back into editing until it's done. And the latest I've ever stayed was like I stayed up one time. It was all day and all night, like
Mhm.
no breaks, because it was
Yeah.
multiple videos that I had to get done. So but normally I will finish around 3, 4 in the morning, and
Mhm.
then I'll sleep again until like 12, 1 o'clock the next day.
Yeah.
And I always try to get outside a little bit before I come and sit down at my computer and
Yeah.
look at projects for the day. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's
Yeah, that's actually something that I was gonna ask about the it's a little bit off topic, but yeah, like the getting up early and getting like some exercise and getting like a breath of fresh air kind of thing. Because I've heard that a lot from like, like big like social media guru people like Gary Vee and like Grant Cardone and people like that, and they always stress like, like get some stuff in the beginning of the day because it like refreshes you and it like gets your mind like active and off of other things. So it's like, is that part of the reason why you do it, or is it like just the only time you really can fit something in?
No, it's that's definitely the reason. What I see like other editors,
Mhm.
urging people that want to get into editing or are already deep into the editing community, like
Mhm.
like they're always begging, please always get up and go outside, take a breath of fresh air, talk
Mhm.
to your family, FaceTime friends, always set aside a time away from the computer screen. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Because like it could really take a toll on you mentally when you're there all day every day, which is what I
Yeah.
used to do when I was trying to break into getting to work with big creators like Jesse and Moochie,
Mhm.
uh, putting in that grind. Like sometimes there was times where I would skip school to edit. Like I
Yeah.
would skip school, like get up and pretend I'm getting ready for school. As soon as my
Mhm.
mom walks out the door, bro, all my clothes come off and I'm back
Oh,
at my computer, and
Yeah.
it was just things like that, But honestly, I wouldn't go back and change anything because even everything that's happened, the good and the bad, has led me to where I am today, which is,
Yeah.
happy and healthy, getting exercise and doing what I love to do.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
you've spoken quite a bit on this a little bit, but any other creators that you look up to? Are there any other ones?
Uh, in terms of people that aren't necessarily editors, I would say C-Day, because when I first started my YouTube channel, it was because I was watching him. So a lot of my videos are like, you could call me a C-Day clone, honestly, because I did a lot of the same things as him. So
Uh-huh.
I would say C-Day,
Mhm.
Fitz, if you guys know him. He does like funny moments and stuff like that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'd say Fitz. Not necessarily an inspiration, but someone I like to watch is Rice Gum, even though he
Mhm.
likes to get himself in shit a lot. Yeah,
Same,
I
same.
yeah. I enjoy watching him, and As for like the 2K community, I love watching Agent. Agent. When I first started watching him, I was like, "Yo, he's from Toronto too." I was like, "Yeah," which was kind of like, I felt like I related to him because he was from Toronto, So I watched him. I watched a lot of Cash Nasty, and that that dummy flight, man. Dummy flight.
Wow, that's a great way to. That's a great way to explain him.
Yeah, I love him, but
Yeah.
he's so dumb, man.
Yeah. He went crazy in June though. We can't discredit him.
That's facts. Even on the grind.
Yeah.
He's been going crazy.
Hell yeah.
I could still take him though, easy.
Rumor has it he's like not that dumb in person. That's what Moby was saying.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I listened to your guys' podcast with Mopi. I enjoyed that one. That was cool. But I heard about Mopi saying he's not that dumb in person. But like when I think about it, there's no way he could be that dumb in person. I watch like compilations on YouTube like called Flight Tries to Read, and I'm like, bro, there's no way Flight can't, bro. There's no way Flight is like that. But he's I feel like he's a great entertainer though.
Yeah, facts. He's a legend.
I love those videos of no edits.
No.
Yeah.
I saw a video on Twitter of him. He tried to do one of his intros and he messed it up. And he's like,
yeah,
you see, but
I saw that. He didn't even cut it.
He clicked on a whole entire link and everything, and then went back to just doing his outro. And that's like, I feel like he's either extremely smart or he's so dumb that he's smart, and that's what I love about Flight, man.
Yeah.
No matter how dumb he is, you can't say he's not a good entertainer.
Yeah.
For real. I mean, that's what. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I don't know if it was really smart, but essentially he stumbled into a YouTube job where editing is not even a factor, and he just pockets all of that.
Definitely.
Facts. I mean, he had the same. He thought about the same thing you were talking about. Like, damn, just get the content out. Like, why is it taking so? So he's like, I am put it right out.
But he's smart too, because even though he's good at entertaining, he doesn't need the cuts to be entertaining. You know what I'm saying? He could just be straight up his dumb self, and everybody would watch and laugh. And it's not like we're laughing at him. We're laughing at him in a sense, but we're also laughing with him. Because he knows. I'm sure he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and also he's also smart because he eliminated a step of the content creation process by taking out editing. So, the YouTube algorithm likes that long form videos constantly. So.
Yeah. He'd be I think he 1v1 Mopi same day.
Oh,
right as it rendered. Posted that boy.
Definitely,
That's
man.
crazy.
That's awesome.
Oh, awesome. Well, while we're on the topic of like kind of talking about inspirations and stuff, maybe we can get a couple people to be inspired by you right here. So, any advice that you have for young creators wanting to get better at editing, or for instance, landing higher profile clients like you have done now too?
I'd say, as dumb as it sounds, I'm gonna tell them the same thing my friends told me. Just use Twitter. Use Twitter. One of the greatest things you can do is using Twitter, because when you use Twitter, like we talked about earlier, that's great. You're marketing yourself, and it's not costing you anything. You're not losing anything by marketing yourself. And one of the things that really helped me was when I first got into editing, it was montage editing. So I had joined like a team, and in that team I made friends, and those friends connected me with other people. When I eventually left my first team, I was on to another team after a while, and I made more friends in there. So one of the things I would say is definitely try to market yourself. And something that really got me down at first, when I first wanted to when I wanted to start editing for like clients, like content creators and things like that, was that how do I show them that I can edit? How do I show them that I know what I'm doing? Because there are clients that like you'll hit them up and say, hey man, I'd love to edit for you, but even though they want a test edit, they want to see that you can edit before they give you another test edit. You know what I'm saying? So my advice to people that want to get in is to start by creating your own videos. That's what got me in with my first client. Was they saw that I was editing my own videos and I knew what I was doing, and so they gave me a test edit to do for them. And from there, it just kind of spiraled, you know. So,
okay. Yeah. Kind of a little bit on the same topic. I know a lot of editors go the way of like creating like a test reel. Have you ever has that ever been anything that you've delved into, or just your own videos?
At first, no, I didn't have a test reel. I didn't have a portfolio or anything like that. When I felt like I was comfortable showing my work to a bigger audience, you know, and kind of casting my line and seeing what bites, you know, I created my portfolio, and I put some time into creating my editing reel for people that like, hey man, can I see some of your work? You know, I send them my portfolio, my reel, and things like that. So I think starting a reel is one of the best things you can do. Having a reel and a portfolio for past work is one of the best things you can do. But I don't know if I would say making a reel is mandatory when you first start out. Definitely when you get bigger and you have people hitting you up, you wanna make a reel for sure. But when you start out, just focus on at first perfecting your craft, you know, with your own videos, so that like you really get an understanding of what's going on, and you know how to navigate a nonlinear editing software and things like that. So that's one of the best things you can do for sure.
There you go.
So kind of shifting gears completely here, moving into sports. You being from Toronto, is your favorite NBA team the Raptors, you would say?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I feel like I don't have enough I wouldn't say I have enough NBA knowledge to you know put on my thinking cap and looking into analytics and LeBron did this and that. You know, I feel like I'm more of a casual NBA fan, but I love watching NBA YouTubers talk about analytics and things like that, you know, so I can like possibly get further insight and things like that. But for sure, definitely Toronto's my favorite team.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like we're all casuals in here. Let's be honest.
Yeah, facts.
But I was just wondering, we're gonna get into NBA after this one, but like when you were applying for obviously working a lot of basketball videos, did they like ask about your basketball knowledge, or like I don't know, was that like an impact?
Honestly, no. A lot of them, because my first big client work, my first big client work that I was really proud of was Dom 2K. I don't know if you guys it was my first was Dom 2K, and it was a video about why there were, I can't remember how many people there were, but why there were people that were drafted before Kawhi Leonard, and you know how big Kawhi has become. But he'd hit me up because I had agent posted something on Twitter saying that he needed editors, and so like I replied under that post, you know, saying, you know, I'd love to work with you. And so, you know, agent didn't pick me up because at the time I was like, you know, I didn't have a reel or anything, and all I had to show was my YouTube video. So, you know, it was what it was. And so Dom hit me up and he was like, hey man, he was wondering if agent had picked me up, and I told him no. And then he wanted me to join his editing team to do his videos, and so I had done a video for him. But like one of the factors, it wasn't a basketball IQ really. He didn't ask me anything about that. He just wanted to know that I could edit, and like if I knew what basketball was. That was basically it. Yeah, that was about it.
All right. Sorry, that was a little off topic, but moving back into NBA, you know, obviously there's a lot up in the air with Corona, but it's supposed to play end of this or it's not actually July yet, but end of July.
We'll be when it's posted.
Yeah. Toronto will be going to Orlando. How far do you see them going this year?
Actually, it was just the other day when I had seen people on my Twitter timeline talking about the NBA. I went to go check out the stats, and I saw that they were second in the East. I was like, okay. I was like, because I hadn't really kept up with the NBA all too much. I had just heard friends talking about like, oh, Kyrie's in Brooklyn and things like that. So when I had checked on them, I had saw that they were in second. And I was like, damn. And I saw that the Bucks were in first. And so I was like, if we meet them in the playoffs, we don't have Kawhi this year, bro. We don't have Kawhi this year. He's not here to clutch up for us. But since I am a casual, I don't really know the dynamics of the different teams and stuff. So I can't really say like, oh, Toronto's definitely gonna get past them or Toronto has no chance, But obviously I'm hoping for a repeat of last year. So.
There we go. Well, let's see. No one knows. I mean, everything's up in the air right now, so let's see.
For real. Anything can happen this season.
Facts, for real. Especially with like so many players like now saying like they're not going to play and stuff. Like that totally shifts everything.
What do you guys think about it? Do you guys think that like they should be they should restart the season in Orlando, or should they hold it off until next year?
I think.
Oh my bad. I was waiting.
You good? I think if you don't do it, it'll like just like the amount of like issues and problems I think will continually like arise like moving forward, and like I think overall it's also just better like for the world to have like something back and like something more to like focus on and stuff. So I like it. I think it's a good decision, but I also do like kind of see the side of like the players who are like there's like other things that are more important right now, and like there's like the risk factor and everything. So I see both sides, but I'm happy it's coming back. I'm also just a fan, so that's also biased, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of obviously there's a lot of room that it could go wrong, but I mean, hopefully, I mean, they've said that they're really preparing. They have like wristbands. I don't know how they got those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
I think the healthcare workers were quite mad about that one, but
yeah.
When I saw that post on my timeline, and I was like, bro, I know the comments about this are gonna be so toxic, man.
Yeah.
I looked in the comments, it was everything. What about teachers and healthcare workers? You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, I saw a comment that was like, hey, or it might have been one of you guys or something, but it was like, hey, I mean, I guess Melo's going to get a ring and something now, so good for him.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that, yeah.
All right, well, I mean, it's impossible to be talking about the NBA, even if we're casuals, and not bring up the question. So I got to ask you, Karma, who do you think is winning the chip this year, and who is winning the MVP? With your large amount of knowledge that you have about the NBA.
Let me just reach into my large bank of knowledge, Damn. As for winning, honestly, I would hope it's Toronto, but I've been seeing a lot of Lakers talk on my timeline, and a whole bunch of talk of J.R. Smith and LeBron James. There's a whole bunch of JR memes and things like that. So going from what I see on my Twitter timeline, I would have to say the Lakers.
All right.
Yeah. Keep in mind, this isn't coming from any knowledge of LeBron did this and he did this year, and it's just what I've been seeing on my timeline, and mostly opinions from Lakers fans. So
yeah.
Thanks. I saw Henry tweeted out his Team Lake show this upcoming season.
Yeah, I want LeBron to get one more. He'll do anything.
For sure. LeBron's a beast, man. Speaking of MVP, I think LeBron's got one more MVP up his sleeve.
Okay.
I feel like he's got it in him, honestly.
Is that this year?
This year, yeah.
Right.
I mean, sure. I think the Clippers are taking it, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
We could debate forever.
I mean, you guys could debate forever. I saw a lot of I saw a thread of I think it was the Sacramento Kings that said like for Sacramento, or retweet for Lakers.
Yeah.
And it was just hella Lakers, man.
Yeah.
Hella Lakers retweets until they bamboozled everyone and they zoomed
Yeah.
in on the
Yeah.
picture. Showing
Yeah.
Lakers suck or something like that. And I was like,
Yeah,
yo,
I saw that. I saw
GG,
that.
bro. That was 200 IQ for sure.
Yeah.
One
God.
good thing about the Kings, the social media team.
Yeah. They got the best social media team in all of sports, I swear.
Yeah.
For
They go
sure.
crazy.
They nailed it with that one for sure.
Thanks.
All right. As we kind of wrap up here, do you have any suggestions about who we should have on the show next? Like, do you maybe know people who would love to come on or stuff?
There was one guy that I had really enjoyed watching when I started editing for Jesse. There was this one guy on Twitter called My Type of Edit 23.
Yep.
Him.
Yep.
He was I don't know if you guys had him on, but I watched the video he made for them and I was like, damn, that shit was funny, bro. So I'd love to see him come on and talk about how he got into editing and why he watches Too Hype and stuff like that.
Bet.
Yeah.
He's should be coming on later this weekend.
Oh,
Hopefully.
for sure. Oh, that's dope. For sure.
That
I
dude's
definitely
crazy.
love that. Yeah.
Yeah, he does my thumbnails for me, and every time I'm like, oh, like, do you think you could do this? He's like, yeah, and like he gets it back to me like so quickly. I'm like, how are you this good at it?
Yeah.
At such a young age.
I saw. How old is he?
He's 15. It's crazy.
Man, I wish I could be doing that type of stuff at 50, man.
Yeah.
I saw an NBA cover that he did for Flight.
Mhm.
I was like, damn, God, he's really good. I was kind of blown away. Like I have simple Photoshop skills, but nothing like that.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got his career starting early for him. He's right there. All right. Well, I think that's pretty much going to do it for this episode. Is there anything else, Karma, that you kind of want to add? Anything you want to plug? Let people know what you got going on, or spread any messages or anything before we head out here?
Well, I want to thank you guys first of all for having me on here. I was excited because I never been on a podcast before, you know.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
Thank you guys.
Let's go.
Thank you guys for the support, man. It really means a lot to me. It shows me that like I'm doing good work, you know, and I can continue to do this. So I want to thank you guys for that for sure.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you for
course.
coming on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we seen those wild edits. I mean, not going unrecognized.
But I know when I first messaged you, that was like the first thing you said. He's like, I've never been on a podcast before. I feel like I do terrible, but you did a pretty good job.
That was actually pretty
That
smooth.
really is, yeah.
Thank you.
Natural.
Thanks.
All right. I think that's all we have for the show today. Special thanks to everyone who showed support to the last episode. It really means the world to all of us. Thanks again to Karma for taking the time today. His social media links will all be linked in the description below, so make sure to give him a follow over there. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and let us know who we need to have on in the future. Thanks for listening. Stay safe and peace.